this hunch on my time.
Hello, Miss Proska.
Hello, Mr. Alexander. Come in, please.
Thank you.
Come in. You remember my husband?
Of course. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
4 years. That's a long time. When you came to write about Ellie, you were coming back to have supper sometime, remember?
Yeah, I remember. I'm sorry I didn't.
You said you had something to ask us about our daughter? About Ellie?
Oh, let him sit, Victor. A person comes into the house, you can at least ask him to sit down. Please, Mr. Alexander.
Thank you.
Can I fix you something?
Oh, no.
A cup of coffee?
No, thank you, Miss Proska. No, thank you.
What about her? What did you want to talk about?
Well, I got a call at the paper a few hours ago. Well, Mrs. Prohaska, when was the last time you heard from your daughter?
Something's wrong. Victor?
I didn't say that. She called me this morning after all this time. She called me. She seemed troubled.
What do you mean, troubled?
Upset, unhappy.
That's all?
That's all. Believe me now. Well, you want to know why I came here to talk to you? Well, somehow your daughter seems to blame me for feeling unhappy. I mean, she blames the story I wrote.
Alexander, that Ellie is unhappy is no news to us. You might as well know. We haven't spoken to our daughter in 2 years.
Oh, not that we wouldn't. We'd speak right now in a second. But she doesn't speak to us. She doesn't come around. Who would believe it? Your own daughter being so indifferent, she doesn't even call up or come around. I sit here. Believe me, Mr. Alexander, I try to think of the answers. We're not good enough for Ellie anymore. Is she ashamed of us? What happens? All the things you dream for a child. All the sacrifices. What does life do to everybody?
Do you have any idea what happened?
You mean what went wrong? Who knows? She got the jobs all right, but maybe she just wasn't good enough. Who can say? The whole thing, the career, the modeling business, didn't last very long. And then she just didn't seem to have any kind of a job, and that wasn't good. Then it began to happen. She moved. She never called us. I couldn't reach her. I began to think about what kind of people she was with. What men?
Victor, you don't know for sure.
There were men. More than one. I went to where she lived before she stopped coming around. It was a building with a doorman. Where did Ellie get the money to live in a building like that?
Victor, don't condemn. If you don't know the facts, don't condemn.
I want to know the facts. Is my door locked to her? Let her come and tell me the facts.
Victor, what are we doing? I'd like to show you something, Mr. Alexander. Please come with me. This way. Victor built this. Nights, weekends. He built this room onto the house for Ellie. Some of the furniture he finished himself. He thought that maybe if Ellie had a nice place to come home to, she'd come home. It's been waiting 2 years now. We don't even know where she lives.
What about your other daughter? Maybe she's heard from Ellie.
Get Ann's address for him. Mr. Alexander, if you do find Ellie, tell her we have some money. Not much, but enough for her to get started again.
Yes, I hear you, Mr. Templar. No. I don't think anybody would try to brush you off. No, No. Oh, Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course I'm interested in the end of the world. Hold it, Mr. Templar. I've got another call. City room. Mr. Granger, 2 calls. Mr. Templar on 2 with his hourly sermon and Mr. Alexander on 3.
Yes, well, I'll take the second Sunday kook, Mr. Alexander. Hello, Nick. When are you coming back here?
I want to make another stop, Mark. It's getting more complicated.
It always gets more complicated, kiddo. And I'll tell you something, Nick. If you do find this girl, I have a suggestion. Give her Mr. Templar's number and let the two of them talk to each other on the telephone. Maybe the rest of us can put out a newspaper,
Cran speaking.
This is Ellie.
I told you not to call me here.
I'm afraid of what I'll do if I'm left alone. You've got to come back.
I can't talk to you now.
Forever? I'll ruin you. You and your business if you walk out on me. The government pays something to income tax informers. 10% of the recovery. 10% of the money you cheated them out of. Phil? If you're not here by tomorrow, I'll do it. I swear.
I was on the phone. Trouble?
One of my kids. You know how kids are. Always trouble.
Funny a guy gets to be as old as you, never learns how to lie. That dame's been on your back. I warned you months ago. Now, what did she want?
Yes?
You're Ellie Prosky's sister?
Whoever I am, it's none of your business, and I don't care who you are either.
Well, I'm Nick Alexander. I'm with the Bulletin.
Look, mister, I'm single. I live alone in a room. Now, you want some statistics relative to those 2 facts? Now, get going.
Your sister's in trouble. She called me this morning. She was talking suicide. I went to see your folks, but they don't know where she lives. Do you?
No. And I don't care what happens to her anyway.
She's your sister.
Not by choice, Mr. Alexander. Look, I don't want to sound hard about Ellie. But Ellie reaches into people's lives, and she doesn't care what she upsets. She's reached into mine enough.
Okay. I don't want to make waves. But look, this thing's bugging me. I don't know why, but for some reason I feel responsible for your sister. So tell me, just one thing. Is your sister the kind of girl that could really kill herself?
I can't tell you just that. Ellie was never a happy girl. Always reading movie magazines and entering all kinds of contests. Hating what she had, imagining what she could have. And my parents, those sweet, sacrificing people, they tied her up in knots, too. They tried to do it to me, but I guess I was stronger than Ellie. When they saw the way she wanted to go, they not only helped her, they pushed her. They wanted her to be something, so Papa could talk about it at the bakery, and so Mama could tell all the neighbors about their famous daughter. If you're going to tell me that parents want good things for their kids, don't. What they wanted for Ellie, they wanted. Ellie always had a lot of problems. And down at the bottom, way down, always stirring that pot, were well-meaning mother and dad, loving her, destroying her. You see, Ellie wanted unreality. And they were going to give it to her because they loved her so much. And no matter what it cost. Believe me, it cost.
about all. Oh, except for one thing. I'm a gym teacher at PS 95. I met a man who taught there, too, and we were going to be married. And then I made the mistake of introducing him to Ellie. She had to have him. She got him. She ground him up and spit him out. They were married about 8 months. He's married again now, but maybe he still hears. You see, Ellie can't give anything up, even when she's through with it. That's my sister. Mister, I hope you find her in time.
It's a good place to talk. Here where we both began.
Been seeing her for about a year. Paying her rent, buying her clothes, even paying for her to see a psychiatrist. When I thought I was going to marry her, I told her things.
Things?
Well, she said I was spending too much money on her. I said, forget it. It's government money.
You stupid.
Stupid is right. But how stupid? I told her we manipulated the books. How we figured it out to find a way to get away without paying taxes. Now she says she's going to inform. Unless I go back to her.
I could kill you.
Anything you want to do to me, I got coming.
She's not going to tell anyone anything.
Jesse.
Shut up! I got to get me out of this. That means you too, or you want to stay in it. So I'll do what I have to do like I've always done. You can hide and pretend it isn't happening.
You wouldn't do anything to her.
Now, I don't want you to worry. You just pretend like you're in Miami for 2 weeks with Grace. Write her address down and put it on my desk. I won't even let you see me pick it up. And Phil, I'm getting tired of it. I mean, me dirtying my hands for both of us.
Well, I just don't want to talk about it. After all, we were divorced over 5 years ago. I'm worried about her. I want to help her. Don't you understand that?
I understand one thing, Mr. Alexander. You're prying into my personal business. What was between Ellie and me, whatever it was just that. Between us.
If anything happens to her, just how are you going to feel?
Look, I haven't talked to her in a long, long time. I don't know where she's living now.
I wish I could believe you.
You have a license to call me a liar?
Look, I just don't want her to die. Do you?
You have to understand about Ellie. 3 or 4 months ago, she called me. She wanted to know if I was happily married. Knowing Ellie, what she was saying was, come back, I need you. We were married for 8 months, and she decided she wanted more. She decided she wanted glamour. Well, she walked out on me. And I've got something too good to lose now. So when she called me, I didn't ask her where she was living, and she didn't tell me. Well, that's it.
Thanks.
Sure.
Yes, sir? Terrible. Beautiful. It's for you. Templar. I told him that you'd taken the afternoon off. He said he's very disappointed.